Hello YouTube family, it's been a little while since I have posted. This is GretchenHidell and I'm here doing an astrological report about Mars retrograde. So Mars is going to be going retrograde. I know. It's going to happen on June 26th. It's going to be around 5:04 p.m. Eastern time. And so the big thing is that it's going to actually be in the astrological sign of Aquarius, 9 degrees Aquarius. And so it's good to know where Aquarius is in your astrological chart. But Mars, my goodness, I just really am not a huge fan of Mars retrograde because I'm an Aries. And so Mars is my ruling planet. It's Aries ruling planet. It's also shared by Scorpio. And so if you're an Aries or a Scorpio, you'll feel this more. Or if you have planets that are in the beginning degrees of the fixed signs, and all those fixed signs are, obviously Aquarius, Leo, Scorpio, Taurus, in the beginning degree around 9 degrees, you might be feeling this as well. It's always good to know, is that planet touching any of your planets too? That's always important to know with these retrograde cycles. So Mars is our ambition. It's our drive, it's our motivation, it gets us going. It's that little spark of how we operate and how we move through the world. And so with Mars and Aquarius and all of that happening, it's going retrograde, which means that it's going backward. And so that means that our drive, our ambition, all that kind of stuff is now kind of being questioned. It's not to say that we don't have any drive or ambition during this time. It's just that the planet's energy is weakened in astrology. That's what we always say. Retrogrades are about reevaluation, reviewing, learning lessons, all that kind of stuff. So you need to know where Mars is, where Aquarius is in your astrological chart in order to know how that will affect you on a personal level. But I'll tell you, collectively, it's going to affect all of us in that area, whatever area of life it will be hitting. For instance, if it's in your first house, that's the house of self. And so you might not all of a sudden be feeling so great about yourself. You might have your confidence might come into question. Sixth house, where my Mars lives natally, that's the area of health. And so what are you doing for your health care? Are you exercising? Are you doing all the things you're supposed to be doing? And these are all the types of lessons. Now Mars is going to have a little precarious journey here. It's going to be retrograde between June 26th through the whole summer, August 27th. So it'll be retrograde in Aquarius. But for a brief time, it'll be backing up. So it's 9 degrees, it'll go 8 degrees, 7 degrees, and then it goes back into Capricorn August 12th to September 10th. So almost like 1 month. It'll go back into Capricorn, and we'll get a little review of what Mars in Capricorn was like. And Capricorn is the CEO of the Zodiac. And so, I don't know. I feel like Mars in Aquarius is all about helping others, helping humanity. I always use the astrological sign of Aquarius as an example of Oprah Winfrey, because I think she really sort of personifies what Aquariuses are like. And so we're not all Oprah, right? We're not all trying to save the world and do different things, but this is about collective consciousness. And are we able to help people? Are we able to help the masses? We've talked a lot here, specifically in America, about how we're treating immigrants coming into our country and their families and our basic humanity. That's really been in question lately. And I feel like that's going to be worked out all this summer. We're going to be talking, hearing reports of things happening, and we're going to be looking at our humanness, our human nature. Other famous people with a lot of Aquarian in their chart, they weren't maybe necessarily Aquarians, but they had a lot of Aquarian, which was Martin Luther King, Rosa Parks, Abraham Lincoln. So I'm hoping that this Mars and Aquarius thing kind of lifts up our humanity and helps us to next level it. Although, because it's retrograde, at first we'll probably hear of some horrible thing. We might hear of some atrocity or something, which actually then changes our society and changes the way that we look at things like this. I feel like we need this, actually, even though I don't really love Mars in Aquarius with being in Aries myself. I feel like we need to review this, because where is our humanity? I mean, I just am, where is it? And so hopefully Mars in Aquarius being retrograde will help us to find, like, remember, reevaluate, review, reassess what is it we are doing here, okay, on the planet, and how are we treating others, how are we treating animals, how are we treating our environment. I mean, I don't know, if we had a report card, I don't know if we'd be in the passing grade category. We might be in the fail department right now. So anyway, getting back to, we'll have another review as it enters into Capricorn, August 12th to September 10th. That's a month. And Mars in Capricorn is all about big business, finance, government. How are we doing our laws and different rules? You know, Capricorn, when you think about it, is all about rules, like the big rule. So how are we doing in that department? And so maybe this change that we're going to experience over the summer then gets put into policy. Who knows? I hope that's the case, that maybe something with that gets reassessed. So we'll see. And then also on a personal level, where does Capricorn fall in your astrological chart? Then you'll get an idea of what that will be like. Then Mars, as it starts to move forward after August 27th, it'll go direct. Now remember, these planets, when they're retrograde, they don't just stop-start. It's like a car. I always say they have to, like, you know, they have to, like, slow down, stop, and then, you know, they go backward and stop, and then they go. So we call that stationary direct. When it starts to go direct, it'll stop, stationary direct, and then it'll go forward. So August 27th, it'll start its forward cycle, slowly but surely it'll go forward again. And it'll return to Aquarius September 10th all the way to November 15th. So we have really, other than that 1 month of it being in Capricorn, we have from June 26th all the way until November 15th, Mars will be in Aquarius. And so Mars is usually only in each sign for 2 to 2.5 months. And that's why these retrogrades are about, like, an intensive lesson plan. So in that one sector, we're going to be really worked out. And it depends on what house it falls within your astrological chart in order to know how it'll go down, so to speak, or where your area of review will be. 7th house, let's say, if it's in the area 7th house, which is the house of marriage and partnerships, well, you might have to reevaluate a marriage or a relationship. And you'll have energy that you'll pour into that. Mars is always our energy. It's also blood. It's also like high blood pressure and things like that. So we want to watch that during this period of time. Aquarius is all about ankles and veins and varicose veins and ankle swelling and all that kind of stuff. So we want to watch that. So it's just an interesting, Aquarius is really the circulatory system of the body. Aquarian's opposite is Leo, and Leo is the heart, if you think of that, and then Aquarius is how the blood circulates through the body. So it's kind of interesting how those two need each other, right? Opposites sometimes need each other to balance each other out. So Mars in retrograde, Mars is also the planet of war, let's just face it. And I'm really hoping that we, obviously can figure this out. Do we have to always jump into these fights and these wars and different things? Mars can be fire and explosions and all sorts of stuff. Mars has been going retrograde your whole lifetime, so let's not go into fear. It goes retrograde, it goes forward, it goes retrograde, it goes forward. But we want to really think about maybe more peace. How do we balance war and fighting? Well, we balance it with peace, right? And so this is about what fight is the important fight. We can't fight every battle. So what's your personal battle, or what's your personal fight that you want to get into? Maybe a cause, a charity, donating your time, donating money, you know, like, let's get involved. Mars is a call to action. And so maybe we're sitting around and we're complaining about how things are, or just posting on social media how we feel about things. But maybe our Mars is reviewing, like, are you really, you know, doing anything other than just annoying people? Or are you actually stepping up and doing something that's positive for the world? Like these people that I pointed out that are famous Aquarians, like our Oprah Winfrey and other people who are inventors and who are people who are innovative and want change. This is Mars and Aquarius is all about change. Aquarius is all about change. So let's look at something radical, something different, something innovative, something exciting, something that really gets us, you know, up in the morning, and then focus on that. That'll be a great way to channel that proper Mars energy. And we can't talk about Mars unless if we mention physicality, because after all, Mars is our sexy. And so I always ask people, how do you feel sexy or sexual? What makes you feel sexy? And a lot of people actually don't even mention sex at all as a reason for feeling sexy. Many people, almost all people, answer me where they'll say, well, I felt sexy when I felt confident, or I felt sexy when I was, you know, in good shape, or I felt sexy when I, you know, did these certain activities and it made me feel good. It usually is connected with our self-esteem and how we're feeling about things. So Mars is our sexy, okay, and Mars is also physicality. So this is a great time to start exercising, but we want to take it slow because remember, it's retrograde. That's the only caveat, is it's retrograde. And we want to evaluate, where is our sexy and do we feel that way? It's our sexuality. And so I love to celebrate the planet of sexuality because that could be fun. Now think about it. If Mars is aggression and fighting, but we could make love and not war, right? So it's just about all this fire. And I always say Mars really is like the gas pedal on a car. Saturn, I always say, is our brakes, but Mars is our gas pedal and it's our go. And so how are we going? How are we doing this? And that's the questions that I want you to sort of ask yourself and evaluate when we're talking about Mars being in Aquarius for this long extended stay period of time. And so how do you feel sexy? What is your fight? What do you believe in? What's the cause? How are you contributing? What energy are you contributing to the world right now? That is the question of Mars retrograde in Aquarius. Hope that helps. If you have any questions, please post below. Share this link with your friends. Like the notification button and the little bell down there. And subscribe to my channel for more updates from GretchenHidell. Thank you and be well.